Hi everyone, I'm very excited for this vlog. Today is Web3 Investor Day in Chicago. I'm presenting my work there and can't wait for the amazing panel discussions lined up. I'll keep you guys posted.
At the same time, I started my career in Silicon Valley on Sand Hill Road as a venture capitalist. I could also relate to the hard work that top VCs need to put in to assess valuation parameters, especially during these uncertain times that they're in.
Perspective, what's sort of the advice that you would give people who are trying to deal inside Web3? Like, how do they communicate to the LP world in a way that's not?
You need to be curious.
Yeah.
I think you need to have a culture of curiosity, and that leads you to great people and asking questions. You know, I think we've all had this experience where you ask something that you're scared to ask because it seems so.
And Web 2. What I found is, in so many cases, while the technology changes, the underlying human need or human engagement doesn't always change. So you take SparkNotes, which is still to this day, if any of you know people in high school or maybe are younger than me, you might have used SparkNotes yourself. SparkNotes is not that crazy. It's not that innovative. We just took Cliff's notes and we put them online, right? So that was like, we didn't change the way people study. We didn't change, we created a new brand, we created a new business, but the web that technology just enabled a different way for consumers to do what they already wanted, right? And you think about like Tinder being the Web 2 version of Match or OkCupid, like, yes, the form factor of mobile, the connectivity of Facebook allowed for a different consumer experience. Tinder is on its face very different from Match or OkCupid, but the fundamental consumer need that we served was the same. And so I think that's really what I'm really trying to suss out when I talk to entrepreneurs or when I look at, think about Web3 is, okay, what are the technology shifts and what are the either business or consumer shifts? They might be related or they might not be related. And those are where I think sometimes businesses get created that, and forget Web3. Web2 businesses got created just because they leveraged Facebook or they leveraged a mobile phone, but they didn't actually add any value.
$1,500. They might want to get their name in the credits, a selfie with the celebrities on the show, and then at top for $1,500, they might want to buy in as an associate producer. Why wouldn't you sell this if they want that? But that's just where it starts. So brands want to get involved. Vogue wants to sponsor your costumes. SoundCloud wants to sponsor your sound breaks. This is the future of advertising. And then the roles are breaking down. So some of our creators, including Grace Singh, we just did them into Fresh Posts for animated series. They're selling roles into their show. They are selling access to the writer's room. So not just roles for you to be in the movie, but Grace has an NFT series. So what she did was she sold roles to people's crash pumps, their avatars. So their avatars now hold IP. And what she did was she's making this animated series. She's using AI to scan the facial features and expressions of the people that own the crash pump. She's overlaying that over the character in the animation, and then they're doing the voiceover. It's a whole new world.
The mind can take use cases that make sense, business models that make sense in the physical world. For example, NFTs can be the next sort of paradigm for fundraising. Because today, like if you start a company, coming up with tokenomics before you have a product, before you know which direction this stuff is going, it's actually pretty hard to beat, right? And you see that people can have baggage from getting tokenomics wrong at the start. So something that you can do with NFTs is, something that happens in the real world today, which is potentially represent share classes at the start. Someone can invest, come in, and then buy different types of share classes, whether that's family shares or investor shares or common stock. And then that use case makes sense because A, you can fundraise it, also it can serve as a fundamental hierarchical structure of governing debt. The demo day
So stick around, especially if we are that platform that helps communicate.
Real estate, hopefully expert. What I do want to say is what makes me very happy is in a room full of super smart people who are hyper-focused on virtual interactions and virtual spaces, that to see everybody gathered physically in a physical space that we've created gives me hope that our industry is not yet obsolete. Okay, so how is the metaverse going to impact real estate and real estate investing? I've heard it over and over again today that it is very early in the game and we're just learning how they will interact. But from a marketing standpoint, from a selling standpoint, how we show spaces that are going to be developed, the metaverse is going to change that undoubtedly. We saw it with the programming that we gave some people in Lincoln Yards and how we're pitching these developments that are coming out of the ground. Visualizing them now is easier than it ever has been in the past, and that's only going to get more interesting as we go.
Get into this space that needs to be, PhDs in computer science.
Absolutely. And I think something that FTX has sort of really excelled at and sort of set a standard around the industry is documentation and education. Whenever you guys have an API and I've already tried to use it, I notice it's incredibly well documented. It's really easy to sort of interact with. And I remember
the headquarters for Google, kind of like a regional HQ, and it's I think well over 1.4 million square feet, and it's the single largest announcement of a corporate expansion in the history of Chicago. So who's gonna follow that? So I think people are worried, right? Post-COVID, like what's gonna happen to cities? Well, the same way that I think Google anchored this district, the Fulton Market District, and how it transformed it. They see that opportunity right in the most transit-connected area in downtown Chicago, and that whole area is going to just be a different place in 10 years, and certainly the city is going to make investments. So for us, I think the reason why Google made that decision, the reason why I built my company here, the reason why you guys are here, talent and the diversity of that talent, infrastructure, unlike basically every other large city in the country, you can get to both of our airports on a train. Imagine that. And then of course, the fact that you can have a great quality of life and it's affordable.
I think the general theme here is fluidity of membership and ownership of those members. Different flavors, you have vertical DAOs. This is like your on-chain analogy of like a company. I don't want to say shareholder, but they aim to increase the value of the tokens that they receive as ownership. Another flavor is collector DAOs or investment DAOs. These are individuals who pool money together to make purchases. Some of them buy NFTs, some of them invest in companies, even like traditional like equity structures. And the third flavor are service DAOs, which are effectively like consulting companies where every person in that group is already like a partner and they all get revenue share. This would be like a design firm where everyone in that.
We're looking for some direction from the regulators and from Congress, and I think some kind of regulation would be helpful. Guardrails, so to speak, would be helpful. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that the sort of regulation through the enforcement, as I think Commissioner Fail said, like that whether that is a good thing, or is that sort of
old crypto assets? They would have to follow the exact same regulation as any type of banking charter that we have in the state of Illinois. And for a lot of our Illinois-based banks, IDFPR is the boots on the ground that reviews all of their records and make sure that they are in compliance. And since Treasury came out with that white paper where they said essentially, if you are a state chartered bank or a federally chartered bank, you can hold crypto assets, that bill became somewhat moot. But even though it is a regulation bill that was endorsed by the bankers, by industry, by consumer protection, a year and a half ago, that bill got,
are the ones that haven't been that extreme or the other, but have just consistently always been investing, studying, testing things out, and not, not thinking that this is gonna be a short-term fix or a magic pill that's gonna make all the problems go, or if the magic, it's like a weight loss supplement or something. Oh, I didn't lose my 20 pounds, I'm not gonna use this pill anymore. It's like, look, there's other stuff that needs to happen here. Be patient. And the good news is I think there are a lot of good companies that have quietly, methodically been working in blockchain for many years now.
We want to embrace our whole ecosystem and what we're building here, what we can do to lift up each other and build together. I think that's a major theme of what we did today. And certainly.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining today. Paul Su from Necrosonic. It's been such a great experience bringing our community together. And if I could leave one parting thought, let's collaborate. Yeah, Web3 is all about collaboration. There's a lot of talent here in Chicago and in America, and let's find ways to have those conversations and do some big things.